edition of the I'm Always Right Sports Podcast. I am your host, as always, the Mouth of Michigan, Rob Mendeka. With me, as always, my co-host, the Merkzone, Mike Merkel.
I'm here.
Michigan action once again, the whaleman, Kyle Budzanowski. He is out of town, but it's fine. I think we'll be able to do this episode without him, unfortunately. I think we're going to be able to handle it, Mike. I think we're going to be able to do it. I don't know. We're going to try. We've got so much to go over. I say that every week, but the sports world is constantly changing. We are going to go over the Lions' new staff changes. We have a new defensive coordinator, a new special teams coordinator. Then we're going to jump right into another edition of the Merkzone Mock Draft. Later on in the second half of the show, we're going to talk about the NBA trade deadline is coming up here in the next couple weeks, especially the D Rose talk for us Pistons fans. And then we're going to talk some professional wrestling. We had some groundbreaking stuff happen the past couple weeks. Tessa Blanchard, the first woman to win a major North American singles championship ever, really, the World Championship in Impact Wrestling. And then we're also going to talk, what else are we going to talk about, Mike? What else are we going to talk about?
Just way too much good content what we're going to talk about.
Oh boy, our transitions are great. All right, yeah. But let's just jump right in though. We're going to talk about Lions have a new defense coordinator, Corey Unlin, the defensive backs coach from the Philadelphia Eagles, and then they also have the new special teams coach. I think what's his name? Is it Brandon Toombs? I think is that his name. The special teams coordinator, I think.
Do you want me to fact
check? Coach, yeah, fact checking real fast. But he was the assistant special teams coach for Cincinnati. He's now our special teams coach. Cincinnati, one of the top special teams in the league, which they got to do something right because everything else they were terrible. But I want to talk about specifically, just for a second, the defensive coordinator hire, Coach Unlin from the Philadelphia Eagles. I know some Lions fans had some reservations about this hire. He was formerly with the Patriots, I think, for one season, the same season that Patricia broke in. So they were kind of together for one season, and then they, kind of went their separate ways. So there's a little bit of a tie-in there, and they've kind of formed a relationship. Mike, just before we kind of go into the kind of pros and cons, what did you think of the hire? It was kind of a name out of nowhere, but I kind of felt like we said the same thing about Darrell Bevell before he got hired.
Yeah, it was kind of out of nowhere. I'm looking through his
resume?
His resume right now. So he did coach the Philadelphia Eagles defensive backs the last couple years.
Right. Yeah.
And you know how good they were defensively in the backfield.
Hold on. Let's talk about that for a second, right? Is because I think that was the reason why I think a lot of Lions fans went, "Oh crap," is because of that. But to I guess to his defense, I guess the best way of putting that, there ain't been a lot of talent in that secondary. They've been banged up for, it feels like, 2 years, right? I mean, their cornerback situation ain't great, really. I mean, Sidney Jones didn't turn out to be what they wanted, and I guess you can maybe attribute some of that to his lack of development. Maybe that falls on him, maybe it doesn't. Mm-hmm. But outside of him, I mean, who else do they have? They had Cravon LeBlanc, a guy that the Lions cut starting for them. I think they had... who else they had? They had somebody else, too, that I think that was a former Lion out there. What was his name from the Patriots? He was from Boston College. Remember Calvin destroyed him that one year when Chip Kelly was there? You remember his name? Mm-hmm. He plays for New England now, I think, too. Rowe. Remember him? He was there.
Yeah. So
remember that? But you look at it though, outside of Malcolm Jenkins, right? I don't think a lot of people can really name. Rodney McLeod.
I can't give too much hate. They did win the Super Bowl as he was the defensive backs coach, so he was helping.
Did something right? Yeah, did something right.
Yeah. So he's going through his resume. I mean, I don't think he's going to be. I think he's just kind of. He's kind of the guy there because Patricia's probably going to be doing a lot of the work on the
play calling, right? And we have no confirmation whether or not Patricia's going to be actually calling the plays or if Unlin is, but all we're presuming that he would probably be calling the plays. Patricia would.
So I think you just kind of get a guy that you can trust to help you with the scheme because he was there for a hot minute when Patricia did go into New England.
Right.
So I think it's just kind of one of those hires that was like, I trust you, and you can just help me, kind of get some pointers. Like, if I'm looking at something wrong, you can help me out.
Do you think that it was a prerequisite for him at all, like, from Patricia, that he was looking for somebody who had specialized in defensive back play because of how little they blitz a lot of times, where you expect that you guys are going to be in coverage. We're going to play a lot of man. You're going to have to be able to cover. So do you think that because of his experience with the defensive back specifically, like, we're almost going to have a Dallas Cowboy thing where, like, Chris Richard was the passing game coordinator, coordinator, but you still had another guy calling the defensive plays.
Yeah. Well, I think it's going to help with developing the linebackers in pass coverage.
Yeah, for sure.
Because Patricia's going to be fitting the scheme in,
Right.
and defensive coordinator now is probably his role is going to be, okay, since we're only going to blitz 3 because that's our scheme, everyone, this is how you guys have to go back and cover.
Right.
And since he's a defensive back coach, he can really help with all that, all the development.
Elevate some of those guys.
So maybe, it's not, I don't think a bad hire, I just don't think it's a flashy.
I think everybody wanted Wade Phillips. I think when people originally saw him be released, right, they were like, he did some great things in St. Louis, or I guess LA. He was in Denver for a while. They won a Super Bowl there with him as defensive coordinator. I think those are the two things where you kind of go, okay, like this is the guy, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that's a big thing for us. I don't necessarily think that, once again, it's nothing earth-shattering. I don't think it's anything, but knowing what this Lions regime has done, I don't know what anybody else really expected. They're not the kind of staff, front office, whatever you want to call it, that's really going to go out there and go get the quote-unquote flashy hire. Yeah. You know what I mean? They've never really done that. They still have some spots that they need to fill in. I think they technically still need a linebackers coach, which is might be Patricia, because that's really what he does anyway. And I still think technically they need a defensive backs coach, but they're saying that Steve Gregory, the assistant D-backs coach from last season, is probably just going to get promoted there. Mm-hmm. But overall, I think the staff is kind of fleshed out. I do want to talk about real quick here the Senior Bowl, real quick, because the Lions had the chance to coach the Senior Bowl, right? How big of an impact do you think that is helping the Lions? San Francisco, coached the Senior Bowl last year. They're in the Super Bowl this year, which, by the way, we're going to talk about on a quick hitter episode. That's right, quick hitters are coming back, which will be released later this week. But they get a chance to coach these guys, right? You're letting your staff kind of really get into a rhythm, kind of with the new guys in place. How important is that, do you think, on your side, as we kind of transition here to the mock draft here in a second, to where you feel like they're going to get an even more in-depth look at some of these guys? Yeah. A lot of times when teams coach the Senior Bowl, it's like, all right, there's a familiarity, how they like to be coached, can they be coached, those kind of things. Yeah. I think it just gives them an extreme leg up when it comes to what they're seeing, especially maybe not in the first round, but in later rounds where they can find a guy where they go, yeah, he did really, really well, and was really able to understand the techniques and the stuff like that we were showing.
Yeah, I think it's a win-win, especially with the new coaching regime.
Right.
Just being able to get together and really coach a meaningful game.
Right. Here's what we want to see. Right.
Yeah,
here's a practice round almost. Right?
Yeah. Of what is going to be expected for the next year. Yeah. So you get that with a new unit. And plus, I think you hit every nail in the coffin there. Right. Okay, this guy in the third round, who are we going to take? All of our guys are off the board, or there's only a couple guys left, and you're like, I remember coaching him. Yeah. Bevel could be like, that wide receiver band, he has potential, or whatever you're looking for.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So I think it's like a win-win in all areas.
Right. I think really you get a chance to kind of work with those guys. It was kind of cool to see them on ESPNU. Patricia having to get bleeped out as much as he did. Yeah. I thought that was hilarious.
The best one was when he walked up to Belichick and went, "Yo, I'm Mike, so don't say anything." That was so awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Or the one where did you see when Shea muffed a snap and he just goes, "This is Pop Warner crap out here. Get to this, can't take snap. Come on!" And I was like, oh my gosh. But obviously there's a lot more vulgar than that. I just imagine a guy on a mixer board, just with the pause button.
He's going mute button,
and
just looking around.
Right here, like Morse code, I thought that was hilarious. But it's just something for people to think about. So I'd like to revisit that as the draft goes on here in the next couple months, where we kind of see, okay, out of those people, how many did they take that they maybe coached at the Senior Bowl, or were at the Senior Bowl that maybe Cincinnati coached, where you can kind of get that feel of, oh, okay, they must have really liked what they saw out of this guy, right? Mm-hmm. It's interesting, too, because the Lions are kind of known for taking guys with necessarily high floors, right? So, they come in and they're already not terrible, but the ceilings are kind of mixed, sometimes they take guys, maybe their ceiling is, here's their floor, but maybe this is only their ceiling. You know what I mean? They're solid, reliable guys, but not anything that's going to take you and wow you over the top. You know what I mean? So maybe this is the year where they kind of, because they get a little more intel, they can kind of grow that a little bit. But interesting to see nonetheless, so I'm interested to see what change of the defense happens. But let's go right into this mock draft, though, another edition here. We've been doing this now the last couple weeks. If you don't know what it's about, right, Mike, obviously, we'll go in, find a new mock draft every single week. We go over it, see the Lions picks, who the first couple picks are, anything major in the next couple rounds, if it's noteworthy. these are really fun just to kind of get you guys in the draft spirit here in Detroit. That's pretty much the only time we get to look forward to is the draft. There's still a season of hope where you're ready to be hurt all over again as the upcoming season happens. But it's a lot of fun. We like to do it a lot here. Maybe this year, Mike, I was thinking maybe we do like a mock draft like the first round. Maybe we do like a big board. You know, maybe you and Kyle or something like that, where we kind of walking down and mark them off. Like, here's our draft board, here's this draft board, and kind of see what we do here. I think it might be fun. But all right, let's go into here though. Who's this mock draft from? What do we got? Like conflicting stuff.
Kind of. I'm reading right now.
Okay,
but it's never good.
Yeah, it's never a good sign.
Yeah, I got it.
Who's it from? Matt Miller, I'm assuming. You're on Bleacher?
It is.
It's not Bleacher?
Okay. But yeah, but it's not, they did like trades, I don't know, they didn't tell me what the trades are.
This is trades? Alright, well let's just go with the trades and we'll kind of guesstimate, I guess.
Alright, I guess we're gonna guess, see, okay.
That's what we do.
We'll roll with it.
Well, there you go.
You know,
we usually
we'll
never
give you a couple harder
tests. Yeah, we never have mock drafts a lot of times that predict the trades because it's so hard to guess value, right? That's the hardest part, right? But as we went over a couple weeks ago with a possible Miami trade, right? Like you would have to include at least Miami's number 5 pick and then at least a second round pick. Obviously, there'd probably be more coming with that because of the high pick range that we're at. So it's kind of fun to kind of predict, and then we'll kind of go around with that. But let's go ahead. So this is from Matt Miller, Bleacher Report. What is this, like his 5th mock draft he's already done?
Yeah.
It's funny to me. I don't understand how people can have so many mock drafts out already if, considering that no free agency has happened yet. Like, nobody's been re-signed, nobody's been signed to extensions, nobody's been signed off free agency. So it's like, I don't know how picks change if nothing's happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
like it is crazy. Like it's like what are you hearing? You know, so it's always an interesting topic to me where I go, I don't know what the hell's happening. You ready?
Yeah. Wait, no, they don't have trades. I lied to you. No,
yeah, you got me all excited.
Yeah, I got you.
All right,
yeah, I got you.
Got me all excited for no reason.
Sorry.
All right.
Anyway.
Okay.
So do you want to?
So first pick, Joe Burrow.
Yes.
Right. Second pick, Chase Young.
Yes.
Okay. So
that's not changing.
Yeah, that's not changing, unfortunately, right? Do you see any way, shape, or form that Cincinnati doesn't take Burrow, number 1, and shines a shockwave, right? Like, do you think there's any way at all that all of a sudden, like, that he's still on the board after pick 1? Any at all? Like, do you think Tua or like Justin Herbert's the Senior Bowl MVP? I mean, National Championship, Senior Bowl MVP, they're weighted pretty much the same, don't you think?
When you look at his stats and his height, there's almost no chance.
Right?
Basically no chance.
Really? You don't like Ryan Lindley or whatever the guy is from NC State? Maybe they give the Red Rocket one more chance. I don't know. Yeah. But, all right, so Joe Burrow.
Those are the first 2 taken.
Yeah, right.
So now we are at number 3. The Lions are on the clock. Sound effects.
Boom, boom, boom.
Okay. And who do they pick, Rob?
Well, I'm on the Okudah train. I'm guessing that's where they're going to stay, is the Okudah train.
Is that your final answer?
I need the final I'm going to lock it in.
Okay.
Lock it in. Deal it.
Pick is walking up, and you are wrong, actually.
Really?
Yes.
Who do they got? Derek Brown?
Isaiah Simmons.
Wow, there it is. Okay, I'm glad that you found a draft with this because we've kind of been hinting at it, and I've been talking to some people off air where basically we've talked about this, but if you're a Lions fan, and I'm being 100% honest with you here. I know that it sounds stupid to think, oh my gosh, we're going to take the linebacker position almost feels like the wide receiver position now for Lions fans, where it's like, no, we can't take another linebacker. We can't take this. You know what I mean? Like tight end is another one. But in all honesty, guys, now I don't know if it happens at 3, but I honestly believe that Derek Brown from Auburn, Jeff Okudah from Ohio State, the corner, and Isaiah Simmons are the 3 top prospects that the Lions are looking at. Now, I have no insider information on that, but looking at their needs, looking at Isaiah Simmons, the size, the range ability, the fact that he plays in, the fact that he can play both inside and outside, he looks like a linebacker who can play strong safety. That's what I look at him. He's going to blow up the combine. I already know he is. He's going to run a fast 40. He's going to look great. You know what I mean? I think he's a top 10 pick for sure. But this is a guy, if you're looking at scheme and you're looking at a guy that you can hope make an impact right away, this necessarily wouldn't shock me. Are you okay with that pick at 3, or would you prefer that to be, say, 5, 6? Say 3 is Tua, right? We trade down, right? 4 is Jerry Jeudy. Who's got the 5th pick overall?
Miami.
Oh, Miami. So, all right. So we trade down. All right. So say all 3 guys are still on the board, right? Those 3 guys, right? Are you okay with Simmons there, or would you? And not even out of those 3 guys I just mentioned. Maybe there's somebody else that you like better than I do. But I think those are the 3 positions of need. I think they have to go defense clearly.
Yeah. I don't think. I wouldn't go D-line at all. Right. Even if you love Derek Brown.
Even if you think he's the next Sue.
Unless you trade down that far, somehow you get a deal with Carolina and they jump up and you're at 7 and those guys can take it.
That's a team too that could possibly take a quarterback. We have no idea what Cam Newton's doing. Matt Rule's he's got a 7-year, $60 million contract. He's got time to build this however he wants.
Yeah, so I'm just you look at that, I'm like, I just think their D-line from what they had last year, I think it's still real. Like, you have Trey Flowers, you have Deshaun Hand, you have Snacks if he's there. Like, you have these pieces that are there. Right. So I'm like, if you just take another D lineman, I think there are far. If you're looking at needs exclusively, I think you need the corner too, and I do think you need at least another linebacker. Right. So I think those are the 2 that I would take if you're going to go that route.
Right, for sure. Especially if you don't know what Jared Davis's future with the team is going to look like long term. Like, let's be honest here, right? I think Jared Davis once again improved. Yeah. But did he get where you needed to be? Yeah. No, I do not think so at all. Yeah. So I think that's. I'm just saying, man. With this scheme, if he's your Dante Hightower kind of guy, right, that he could be your be-all, end-all backer, where middle, outside, it does not matter. Rush the passer. That's very important in this scheme. You know what I mean? So I think I think he's just a playmaker at the end of the day. I think that that's the one thing that I think Quinn has kind of missed the mark on at times. Like Galladay in the 3rd round, right? That's a playmaker, right? He has potential. I know Lions fans are going to kill me here, but he has potential to put up Calvin Johnson numbers. Like, that's Kenny Galladay. Yeah. He's doing it right now. He led the league in touchdowns last year with David blah, blah, blah and Jeff Driscoll throwing the ball. So you can't tell me that's out of the realm of possibility. Is there anybody else that you would say maybe that's going in the top 10 that you would like to, that you maybe has a consideration at number 3? Because all these mock drafts are kind of similar, right? But it's always interesting to see the movement on one guy or another. This is the first draft we've seen too where Simmons goes 3. So Okudah is usually the pick. I think it's been the last 3 or 4. I think since we started, just been him. Yeah. I don't know. And just so Okudah goes number 4 to the Giants. Really? Yeah. Okay. They have. So they don't even take a wide receiver. No. So they don't take the receiver because Okudah's. I think Okudah would be their guy, but everyone thinks that we're gonna take him. Right. So then you have to find somewhere else. Right. There. Absolutely. Outside in the top 10, I don't really see anybody that's like, that's a guy. That's a guy that I think it's one of them too for me personally. Right. Yeah. If you're gonna go defense. Yeah, for sure. I think they have to go defense. All right. So let's go. How many rounds is this mock? This is just the 1. This is a 3. Okay. Let's go. Is there anybody else? Let's say 5 is 206 Herbert. Yeah, Derek Brown goes 7 to Carolina. Okay. Let's see. Let me look. That's a value, I think, honestly, for them. Yeah. Las Vegas Raiders take CeeDee Lamb at 12. Jerry Jeudy still hasn't gone yet? He goes 8 to Arizona. Oh, okay. That's a great place for him to go. Interesting. AJ Epinesa, defense and Iowa, goes 13 to the Colts. Okay. Yeah, I heard he's the second one. He's basically it's Chase Young, then him. I think it's too early, obviously, at 3 to take the second best in a draft class, theoretically, at number 3 overall, unless it's a quarterback, and then you're kind of interchangeable. But nothing of too big a value, so we'll head to the second round here. Okay. So to begin the second round, Cincinnati will take Solomon Kinley, a guard out of Georgia, beef up the O-line a little bit, and the Colts take Jacob Eason, quarterback out of Washington. That's a popular pick for them. I've seen a couple times here. I'm interested to see if the Colts are in the quarterback market at all in free agency, or if they're definitely going to reserve that for the draft. It'd be interesting. So going back last week, I had them picking Jonathan Taylor, as you remember. Right. They are not taking Jonathan Taylor this time. Okay. So who do you think? Is there a realm that you think they're going to go to? You probably won't know the name. Yeah. But is there a realm that you think they're going to go to? I can't wait for free agency frenzy. I'm so excited. But with that being said, looking at the needs right now and the question marks they have, I think they could go wide receiver. And I think they could also, theoretically they can go running back. I don't know if they do. I think that's, I don't know. I feel like that's all right, we're just going to keep throwing resources at it until we finally figure out a guy. Now, if they took numbnuts from Ohio State there. What's his name? J.K. Dobbins. I'm not going to say I'm upset because the guy's a beast tank. They do not take him. Right. So I think they probably go. I'm just going to say position because I don't know necessarily. Yeah, where do you think? I'm going to say they go offensive line.
offensive line.
Yeah.
They don't. So they actually stick with the defensive side of the ball.
Okay.
We're going to the secondary.
Okay.
Not the secondary you think, though.
Safety?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
They're taking Antoine Winfield Jr., safety out of Minnesota.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. What's his logic on that? Because I guess I get it, but I also don't get it. He's a free safety or a strong safety? He doesn't
he's a ball-hawking playmaker, so I'm assuming the free safety.
Doesn't make any sense.
But they do a lot of three safety schemes.
Right, that's
true. So I guess if you have that third safety to fly around while Will Harris goes up.
But especially if you're taking Isaiah Simmons, who in my opinion can play deep middle.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Not like deep middle, but, he can play
5-10 yards
yeah,
off.
Exactly, right? He can cover any tight end in my opinion.
So J.K. Dobbins, like last week, goes to the Chargers, 2 picks right after us.
Of course. See, also that must mean that they don't think Melvin Gordon's coming back either. That's interesting. Cool. All right, what's our third round pick to kind of close this bad boy out? I'm assuming then they have to go. Here's where I'm going to say wide receiver.
You're going to say wide receiver?
I'm going to say wide receiver here. That's surprising that they go defense.
Defense?
I'm surprised they go safety, I guess, because I think Tracy Walker is clearly a playmaker in the back of that. I think, once again, Quinn's got a knack for whatever reason on hitting on third round picks that no one's ever heard of, but
so in the third round, they do go offensive line.
Oh, okay.
They take Lloyd Cushenberry, center out of LSU.
Okay, all right, yeah, we actually know who he is, right? We saw him. He got some hype in the national championship.
They say that he's basically just like pretty versatile through.
I was gonna say, if he's not gonna play center for us, he'd play guard.
Yeah, he said he's pretty versatile. And
right, that makes sense. But that's what especially if they don't re-sign Glasgow to an extension, which if they're gonna sign him, it's gonna be pricey. Yeah. If they don't do that, then once again, offensive line is truly a point of emphasis. Once again, I know people feel like it's not, but it definitely could be, and especially if people think that your quarterback has durability concerns. I'm not one of those people, but if you do think that Stafford has durability concerns, that you're definitely hoping that either they address it in free agency or they address it in the draft. So that's an interesting one, though. It's I kind of like that. I don't know, actually. I don't think I necessarily hate that, but I'm hoping that means that's inferring that we sign a wide receiver in free agency because they need another weapon.
They need
a third wide receiver. They need a slot guy for sure. Absolutely. All right. After the break, we're going to be talking some NBA trade action, including the trade rumors around Derrick Rose, and then we're going to hop into some wrestling action to end the week. And then stay tuned for later on this week as another quick hitter episode from last year. I don't know if you guys remember our quick hitter series is actually coming back out. We're talking the Super Bowl. San Francisco 49ers, Kansas City Chiefs. We'll be talking all that after the break. Stick around. Hey guys, it's the Mouth of Michigan, Rob Mendyka. Just reminding you once again that we have a quick hitter episode 7 live right now, only for our podcast listeners. So if you're watching this on YouTube right now, you better go out, go to Spotify, go to Google Podcasts, go to Google Play Music, listen to Quick Hitter episode 7, all about the upcoming Super Bowl, everything you know before the big game. And welcome back to part 2 of this week's episode. Let's just jump right in, Mike. NBA trade rumors here. As Pistons fans, the NBA season hasn't been that kind to us this year, clearly. You're a LeBron fan too, so you've got other things to occupy your time. But
I watch way too much NBA.
Do you?
For my liking.
Even you're like, this is a lot.
It is. They have way too many good games on every day.
Gosh dang it, right?
I try to go to bed, I'm like, all right, 10 o'clock today.
Yeah.
And then on the West Coast, you got Mavericks, Clippers. I'm like, I can't.
What am I going to do? Miss that regular season game?
Yeah.
God forbid, right? That's crazy. You make me laugh. That's funny. But lots of stuff going on, though, especially with our Pistons regarding Mr. Derrick Rose. And he's been on a tear, right? I think he just set his career-high 20-point streak. I think he's at 11 games. He had 20 points or more.
Yeah.
First time in his career. He's putting up MVP-like numbers, at least when he won the MVP. It's similar stat lines, right? He's really been the only factor for the Pistons where you go, wow, he's kind of really keeping them afloat by themselves. Honestly, right? I think he's making everybody look better. And it really bums me out, actually, because I look at the rest of this team. If you had Drummond, who was 100%, if Reggie was 100%, I know he's playing now, and if Blake was playing, I really do think that, not NBA champions, clearly, but I definitely think we could have made a run in the playoffs where they could have at least won a series. I definitely think if they could have got to the 5-6 seed, I think they could have done it.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? I really do.
You're pushing feathers.
I think with the development, Sekou clearly looks like he's got potential, right?
Yeah.
I think this team is better than I think most people give him credit for at 100%. We're obviously not going to see that, but point being is the fact that they're even in the hunt at all for a playoff chase goes to show you that D Rose is putting up some highlight reel number kind of thing. But with that being said, though, because he's playing so well, a lot of teams have maybe inquiring about him. I know LA has been calling about him. Who else was calling about him? Was it Clippers too, or was it just the Lakers? Lakers, the 76ers, I think, were the team that was calling about him, right? Is there a team that you think we would fit best on? Because I think it's the Lakers all day, every day, in my opinion.
Yes, only because the Lakers just need a guard.
Yeah, they don't have a point guard right now.
And the problem that they run into is LeBron can take the ball down the court and start a play, but then the second the play goes haywire, they don't have the guard to go back up and be like, all right, guys, stop reset. Yeah. Because what they do is they go, crap, we're out of stuff to do, so either LeBron's going to drive it, LeBron's going to alley-oop it, or do a pick and roll. Which is why they get stopped so much, is because when they run out of their play to go, they go, okay, we don't have much left, so just
Frank Vogel's like, LeBron, you called the play, I don't even know what's happening.
Yeah. I'll sub you out when you need it, but besides that, you got this, man.
Yeah, right, pretty much.
So I think with Derrick Rose there, you can kind of halfway through run the play, doesn't work, all right, D-Rose, set us back up kind of thing. And LeBron goes out to the corner.
I'm telling you right now, D-Rose playing like he is, you got LeBron, Anthony Davis, and then put out two other guys on the court. It doesn't
Danny
matter.
Green who can shoot. And even if you want, you can put Avery Bradley or Al Caruso or whatever you want to do. And just
Contavious Caldwell-Pope.
Yeah. Have them both be shooters or whatever.
Oh my gosh.
And take Rondo off the court.
Right. Do you think, for Philadelphia's sake, though, I think they're looking for another guy similar to what the Lakers are because they don't have a true point guard, right?
They don't. They have Simmons, who's technically playing their point, but they run into the same situation the Lakers do, where they get down the court and they go, okay, this didn't work, so now what are we going to do?
Is there another team? Do you think like a team like the Clippers or maybe Boston or Milwaukee would benefit more from having him? I know Milwaukee has a true point guard. I know they have Bledsoe there, but
Milwaukee's problem is they need one more shooter.
Yeah, and Derrick Rose is not a quote-unquote shooter.
They need a Danny Green or a Lou Will, just a dead, I'm just going to...
If they were selling, Pistons were selling the farm, if they had a Kennard just...
just be
catch and shoot.
And Corver isn't as consistent anymore.
No.
But Corver would be that piece if he was more consistent and more of his prime kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So that's what they run into. Miami probably needs another big guy because they have Bam Adebayo, but that's not really the best case scenario for them.
Right, for sure. What are the let's just we're gonna go through here. Is there what for you, is there a guy or maybe a trade that would maybe tilt things out of favor for one team, right? If the Lakers trade for Derrick Rose, I think that makes their fourth quarter lineup redonkulous, and I think it makes them pretty hard to stop because you've got weapons everywhere. Is there another guy or another scenario where you see say if Boston makes a trade for a guy, they're going to be really hard to stop, right? Or is there a situation where you go, this team, if they make the right move, can go from being a 3 to a 1 seed and really give the Lakers and or Clippers? Because let's be real here, it's a two-team race in my opinion. It's Lakers, Clippers, and then whoever, and it's the Bucks. The Bucks are just waiting to see which one of those teams fight each other out for.
Here's an interesting scenario that Derrick Rose could go to. I think the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think
behind Luka.
Well, not even that, but Luka plays a shooting guard.
Yeah.
They don't have a true point guard, really.
Right.
They have Seth Curry playing their point guard, which you can laugh, but that's their point guard, really. Right. So if you have Derrick Rose starting there, you have D Rose, Luka with Kristaps Porzingis, and then you can kind of just fill up Tim Hardaway and stuff. I think that would be a really good
Seth
fit.
can become an actual shooter.
Yeah, he can even move to the shooting guard. Luka could go out a small forward or whatever, and then I think that would be because here's where they're going to run into where the Lakers. I think when they go to the playoffs, they're going to have an 8-man rotation. I think their 8-man rotation's solid right now.
Yeah.
You have your starting 5, you get Kuzma off the bench, and you get whoever, Kentavious Pope off the bench.
It's amazing that Kuzma's off the bench. He was the guy for them.
And now you're coming off the bench. That
just shows you where you're just man, that roster makeover in 2 years has been crazy. Yeah.
You have them, and then they're going to pretty much have a cruise to the conference finals.
Yeah.
Because they're playing...
Unless they're Clippers early for some other reason.
Yeah. But the Clippers are right now the 3 seed, so they're going to go through Utah and then Denver to get there.
Right.
Where they're anyway. So I just think the Lakers, if they got that one extra piece, they're resting for 2.5 weeks going into that Clippers game.
Right.
Where I think the Clippers, need a big guy.
Yes.
Or they're not.
They have no bigs.
They have
no
bigs.
real bigs.
Like Montrezl Harrell is nice.
Yeah.
But he's not like
Right.
You need like.
I was looking at the roster recently, actually, of them, because I'm like, all right, everyone talks about, the big names, but I'm like, defensively, like, interior-wise, there ain't nothing there. Like,
No,
low-key, like,
they throw
who's guarding Anthony Davis?
That's.
Like legitimately, who is guarding Anthony Davis on the Clippers right now?
Montrezl Harrell on him?
Right.
Good luck.
All right, well, Anthony's going to go for 40 tonight because that's what's going to happen.
So that's the problem where I think in a 7-game series, I think that's why the Clippers...
I think a team like them could easily try, if they had the room, to make a play for Drummond. If they could. Because like Drummond at least could give you some sort of presence in the middle where you could go, hey, at least he's a guy. He can play solid defense. He's not overly athletic, but he plays solid defense, and then he's just there to collect rebounds.
That's my difference between the Clippers and the Lakers.
Yeah.
The Lakers have that inside presence to get the rebounds. Mm-hmm. I don't ever look at the regular season, even though I love watching all the games.
Right.
I go, okay, Clippers beat them twice already.
Right.
It's not a 7-game series. Like, you come off on
I liken that towards
the
2005 when the Celtics won in 2005, right? The Celtics won the NBA championship 2005. The
2005?
Yeah. 2007. I'm sorry, 2007.
Yeah.
That first year of the Big Three. The first year of the Big Three,
yeah.
But they won the title, right? The Pistons beat the Celtics, I think, pretty handily that season, right? Because that was the matchup, right? It was Pistons, the team that's been going to the Eastern Conference Finals and winning championship, to the new Celtics, right? And who's going to win that? And the Celtics went in and beat them at 6, in a pretty handily 6, to be fair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I liken that a lot. I don't know necessarily if the Lakers just go in and dominate the Clips necessarily, but I think you're seeing a lot of that early on with some of these matchups where I think people are getting a false narrative about who necessarily is the best team. Because you can look at a Dallas team. I think a Dallas team can beat anybody any night. But can they beat them for 4 games?
That's why the NBA is so hard. Is because when you're focusing straight on one team, because it's hard playing the Clippers on a 3 and 4 days, and you're like, oh, now we have to play the Clippers. Now, even though it's a home game, it's not an easy one. When especially if you get that 2 weeks off, basically through the first 2 rounds as a 1 seed, you're gonna go into that game and just be like, all right. Like, here we go. Going right into this.
Absolutely.
7 games. So, I think the Lakers' makeup right now is the best. I think the Bucks probably have the best chance.
Yeah.
Only because the East...
Do you think the Bucks need to make a move in order to really just solidify them at all? Do you think that is there anybody where you can go, okay, if they could somehow land maybe him or this guy, or maybe not from the Pistons necessarily.
Yeah, if they pulled a decent or very good forward, not even a center, like a power forward or a small forward or something, or even just the extra shooter.
Yeah.
If they just get that one more piece, because right now I think they could pretty much dominate up until at least the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah,
because they'll go right through the Nets and the 8 seed or the Magic, and then they'll probably easily go through Miami or the Celtics. I don't see much problem there. So now your Sixers are probably your biggest challenge.
Right.
And I think if you had that one extra Luke Kennard-ish just shooter, or just like a nail, I will make this shot if you need me to shooter.
It's just sits there and he waits for the ball.
Yeah.
Sits there and waits for the ball.
I think that's a 4 or 5 game sweep. And then you play 4, 4, 5, and then you got the Lakers or Clippers coming out and they play 5, 6, 5, 6, 7 going into that series.
Yeah.
You have a strong advantage.
Really good shot for sure. Interesting to see. Obviously, if any trades happen, especially regarding your Pistons, we'll obviously be on top of that. I low key don't want them to get rid of Rose because I think he's hella fun to watch. And
I think they will.
I think they will. I think if he wants to, I think that's the biggest thing because
he might want to say it.
Yeah, he may want to because his agent's working for the Pistons, weirdly enough. So it's it's kind of one of those things to where I feel like even if he was here next year and really kind of with a full team healthy, and if they made him, you have a lot of cap space next year, right? Even if Drummond leaves, Reddy's gone. There's some moves the Pistons can definitely make in the next year or two. So very interesting to watch. It's gonna be fun. All right, let's jump now to the squared circle here. We got a couple things we want to talk about. First thing we're going to talk about, Tessa Blanchard wins the Impact Wrestling, formerly known as TNA, World Heavyweight Championship. Now, normally, right, it's one of those things where titles change hands all the time, right? We just saw NXT North American title change hands last week. The AEW tag titles just changed hands, but this is a little bit different. Tessa Blanchard becoming the first woman in wrestling history to win a major promotion's men's, I guess, exclusively, World Championship, right? The World Championship. Not the women's title, the World Championship. She beat Sami Callihan in the main event. A groundbreaking moment, honestly. Some other women have done it maybe on a smaller scale, but not to this level. They're pay-per-view distributors. They're probably fourth or fifth biggest company, at least North America, if not the world, honestly. Mm-hmm. But your thoughts? Is it the right move? Is it I know Team Impact is just trying to do whatever they can to kind of keep things fresh and give an indie vibe to on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
But was it the right move in your opinion? We're not sexist on this show, right? We're an equal opportunity employer, I like to say. But point being is that do you think just from a storyline and a booking perspective, is that necessarily the right move going forward? Because now you got guys challenging her, right? So it's like she just beat Sam Callahan, right? Who, by the way, great on him for doing the honors, but okay, so now you got like that Taya Valkyrie thing. Like, is she gonna challenge for the world title? She just dropped the knockouts. Like, does she challenge now for the world championship? So we got 2 women fighting for the world title, and then we have 2 other women fighting for the women's title, and then we've got, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, what do you do? I guess is the thing. I mean, are you in favor? Not so much.
I mean, it's good for them, and I think you always have to just...
We were talking about them, so that's that.
Yeah, you have to, I mean, how many times have we talked about Impact on this show?
Maybe once.
I think once.
Yeah.
I think that you have to give it to the most over person, and I really do think Tessa, like, when you say Impact Wrestling, I think Tessa is the first name.
And I think and you've seen this, and we've talked about, not on air, but we have talked about where you go, that's where they're going. You could feel it, you know what I mean? Like, she won the women, and then she's always been fighting the guys, almost won X Division champion, had this big feud. Callahan wins the world title, like, okay, we know what's going to happen here.
Yeah. I just always look at it as like, you don't want this guy to win, but he's more over with everybody, so like he should win it. I think when you go, the world title is like the face of the company.
Right.
So who do you think of when you think of Impact Wrestling?
Right.
For me, it's Tessa.
Right.
Or like Brian Cage, is like the 2.
Right.
For some
he's
reason,
not even there anymore.
He's not really even there anymore. So it's probably Tessa like all day, every day.
Yeah.
Because like I've seen most of her matches.
Yep.
And she's really good at performing.
Yep.
And she has the look to be like the person to run the company kind of
Absolutely,
thing. And so I just go, I think it was the right move because I think it's the name of the company.
Do you worry at all about them, as far as a booking perspective of like, okay, so now say, right, name a guy on Impact's roster, right? Whether it's Sammy again, whether it's, a Rich Swann, or whether it's, name a guy, that could possibly challenge her. Ace Austin, who's the X Division champion right now, challenging her, and then so now you lose, right? Is there a problem with that? Or you beat her, right? Then is she just in the men's? Like, do you have any like long-term concerns as far as booking wise? Like, how then do you book her winning and losing, and like, do you have more women start to come up and challenge for that title? Because I think that's a big conundrum. I think you hurt your women's division a little bit just because, like, okay, well, if she can win the world title, why the hell am I ever challenging for this title? Yeah. Like, why do we have a Knockouts championship or a women's title, what they call it, Knockouts, if I can just go win the world title?
Yeah, well, see, I think that's the thing, but I think they've done a good job with Tessa beating a lot of the women.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, we're to the point where it's like, I've beaten all of you, so, like, you're not really on the same level. Like, if she was losing a lot, and all of a sudden was like, oh, but I'm going to challenge for that and win it, kind of like a WWE Logic thing they would do. Not like to throw shade, but that's something that, like, you drop a title and then you're challenging for one right after, or whatever. I think that would make it, because then at that point you'd be like, I just beat Tessa and she's the world champ, why am I not challenging her? But the fact that Tessa basically ran through the women's division for a minute, it gave it to like, okay, she won it and I get it because I'm not on her level. She beat the crap out of me, so I'm not on that level to like challenge you.
Absolutely,
kind of thing.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think this, I think it's a groundbreaking moment. I think it's historic in a lot of ways. Obviously, we will never see a day where the woman is the WWE champion. I mean, if that would ever happen, I think like Charlotte would have already been champion at this point.
Oh yeah,
honest, you know what I mean?
Probably would have been champion
right. You know what I mean? So,
someone.
But to the fact that they actually pulled the trigger on it. I said good on them for it. I think it's something that needed. Not necessarily it was something like wrestling was quote-unquote missing, but if they were going to do it, they did it in a smart, logical way where you finally got people so behind her where it was just this culmination moment. Whether she's champion for 5 weeks, or 5 months. You know, I mean, the fact that it happened, I think, is an historic moment in itself, regardless of personal. I know there's some stuff that came out about Tessa, like right as she was winning the title, that she's kind of a bully or something like that. I heard some of that stuff, but I don't know her, so I don't really care. But point being is that she's the world champion, and the fact that she got that opportunity is pretty exciting. What's going on here? Oh, is this the World's show?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
They're unveiling the new
NXT cruiserweight title here as we're
so
filming.
Rob really wanted to see it. So
yeah,
we're taking. So
yeah.
I will segue into Ring of Honor and New Japan is what we're going to talk about next.
Yeah.
And how Marty Scurll now, you see in one of their next upcoming shows, one of their bigger shows that's coming up, their Super Card of Honor show.
Yep.
A lot of New Japan guys are coming through.
Yep.
And maybe a new connection is there, Rob. How we feeling about that?
Well, I'm excited. I'm legitimately thrilled. Oh, so yeah, so it is definitely. Okay, cool. But no, honestly, I am legitimately excited. I think it needs to happen. We were just talking about off air. New Japan just ran a show as of this record, I think yesterday. So 2 days ago, or 3 days ago when you guys will hear this, where it was a six match card, where I think it was in Long Beach, and the last match was a 8-man elimination tag. I ain't gonna get a job done in any circumstance, right? I'm sorry, but it's just not, right? You didn't have your big stars on that show. It just was not what you wanted, right? But they're doing this Super Card of Honor again, right? Jay White's gonna be there. I know, is Ospreay gonna be there on the show?
Yeah.
Ospreay's gonna be on the show, right? Just to name a couple. But the fact that they are doing business again with Ring of Honor is humongous, you know, because it's great for Ring of Honor because I think it kind of spurns their business a little bit with Marty taking over as Booker. I think the NWA is back with Ring of Honor again, obviously, because you saw Nick Aldis make an appearance. The fact that these three companies, New Japan is obviously the biggest of the three, right? But the fact that they're trying to get an American stronghold, partnering up with a Ring of Honor, and then the NWA also partnering up with Ring of Honor, you're getting a lot of matchups, and you're getting a super league almost, in a way where, like, okay, we're seeing these big cards now where anytime, right, like, I don't think Ring of Honor was bigger than when, at least on a money-making scheme, right? You can argue, you know, when Bryan Danielson and Samoa Joe, they were doing better performances, whatever, but from a money-making possibility, they were never bigger than when they were doing stuff with Japan, right? When you had Naito and Tanahashi and those people, Adam Cole was there, Riley, Roger Strong, all these guys, right, were there, but you also had them making appearances in Japan, and people in Japan making appearances for Ring of Honor. Those were the biggest times, because you make those guys seem important, because you can see them everywhere. With the NWA now joining in as well, okay, now you got Nick Aldis, now we got James Storm and Cole Cabana, and we've got another subset of guys coming out where you're going, yes, you know, it makes it where talent can go to multiple places, and even if it's not continuous storylines on the same place, the fact that Marty can go to the NWA and win the NWA title, and still then come to Ring of Honor and do his thing, and then Japan can come in and do his and their thing, and you do these matches where you go once or twice a year to face WrestleMania or to face a SummerSlam and go, wow, okay, you know, and using Ring of Honor for Japan as a platform to go, hey, look at all of our stars. And then you grow from there. I think it does nothing but help you. Two, and I think it kind of supplements each other's brands a little bit, because you have people that you can see in all three where you go, okay, these people are exclusive to Ring of Honor, but oh man, he just jumped over to the NWA, now he's in the NWA too. Okay, now we get this match for this, and then, oh, but over here, right, we've got this going on, and then, you know, it combats it a little bit with AEW coming and taking a lot of this top independent talent. It is fortifying what talent is left out there and making them kind of like, hey, by the way, we're still here.
I know, it's almost like a unique thing where you have like WWE, AEW, and then just a mix of the three.
Right,
like
exactly.
You have like,
and it's not all the time, right? It's not like, okay, I don't want to see Nick Aldis versus Marty Scurll on 2 different shows. I don't want to see that. What I do want to see, though, is that when you're building into these super card shows, right, you see some intermingling. Or, you know, a guy pops up here, over here, and over here. Like Flip Gordon wrestling for the NWA is good. And then he goes back to Ring of Honor and he does his thing there. But then you've got, now I see Flip Gordon versus, you know, Tama Tonga in a singles match, you know, on one of the tours that they do. That's the kind of stuff that makes people want to go watch.
Well, yeah, because then it's just like you mix all this talent, so you get more of the talent that you want to watch. And it's just, you can intermingle the storylines, so you have more dates and stuff to set stuff up. And I think, and then your big shows, now you can have 3 world title matches on because you could have the Ring of Honor world title, the NWA world title, and the IWGP heavyweight title all like on the same show being defended, and it just makes these shows like, man, how are you gonna miss?
Like, what are you gonna do? You gonna watch this and not watch Mania, or are you gonna watch Mania and not like? What are you gonna do? Like, there's things to be made. Obviously, you make it appointment viewing for whatever you want, but the fact that you're trying to elevate all these people, it gives more people for everybody to go out and beat and win and all that stuff like that. It's really just...
Can we just talk about how, like, WrestleMania weekend now is just, like, a banger every year now? So you're going to have NXT on Friday, because they do the Hall of Fame thing on Saturday. But then Saturday's going to be the Super Card Honor show that has...
No one's watching the Hall of Fame.
So no one's going to watch the Hall of Fame until Bret Hart gets attacked again. And then on Sunday, you get WrestleMania. So you get 3 straight days of just, like...
Remember last year when we did the weekend and we were like, this is a lot. It was a lot.
Oh, yeah, because the G1 Supercard was
that was that same day. Exactly. We were going by the end of it. We were like, holy
we're like, oh, wait, and Mania's going to be the one.
I know. It's crazy. All right,
cool.
That's going to be it for this week's episode. As a reminder, guys, right, this episode's going to go live Monday. Obviously, you know about it. But we have a quick hitter episode coming out Tuesday. So make sure you guys listen for that. We're talking all about Super Bowl. So if you want to hear about the Super Bowl, wait till Tuesday morning, 7 a.m. That's when that quick hitter episode is going to be released. Only on podcast form, not on YouTube. Specifically for our podcast listeners. Quick hitter series episode. I think it's number 7. Second Super Bowl we're going over for quick hitter. Niners, Chiefs. That's going to be it for the Missing Whale Man, for the Merkzone. I'm the Mouth of Michigan, and we will see you guys as always next time.